Okay, so what do we do now is that first we understand this concept of Gandhabba. The first question comes is that who is born and who is dying? Let's start with that. So generally I say I am born and I am dying. This I am is Nama Rupa. That's all. So this is what the Buddha Dhamma is all about. Associating with I, it can be with 5 aggregates. So if I say I am dying, it means I am talking about the 5 aggregates than anything else. And the 5 aggregates, it is associated with Gandhabba. Because in the Sariputta, if you really see, he talks about how Gandhabba comes to be. With what Gandhabba comes to be, Jati. So now we have to go to that sutta. Okay, we have to go to that sutta. That is the Salayatana, sorry, not Salayatana. Satya Vibhanga Sutta, where he talks about Jati, Sanjati, Okkanti, Abhinibhatti, Khandanam Patubhavo, Ayatanam Patilabo, Ayam Uchata, Ananda Jati. This is the definition of Jati. Now, Jati has many things to 1 minute. Trying to open up that. So, Jati has a connotation of how it comes to be. So, Kamma Jakaya, which is the first portion of it, is associated with Jati. That means to be born, you need to have the Kamma. And Kamma is a field. So now if I am calling something as a Gandhabba, the first portion here is the Kamma. Okay. Any questions on that? Why Kamma? Why not something else?
Because yesterday, as we were discussing, you said that there are 4 reasons to be born, like the 5 niyam, and for Uttu's Rupa, Uttu's Kamma, Uttu's Niyama, Dhamma Niyama, Kamma Niyama, like this. So this fourth factor is responsible, like, to be born.
Correct.
And the work we do, the Kamma is the most important, the Kamma plays the most important role.
Correct.
Among all these 4.
So, in that other sutta which I shared, in that sutta, if you see, is that he explains how it comes to be. So, Kalala. So, from Kalala to Pesi to like that, and then the body gets formed. So, if we see, in each one of those instances, the consciousness is chitta, is we can say is a witness to whatever is happening. So for that to happen, meaning for the conscious experience to happen, and Buddha calls it Vijnana Bija. Okay. So now if you say Bija, so Kamma Jakaya gives rise to Chitta Jakaya, because without the Chitta there can't be any experience of Kamma. So then you have the Chitta Jakaya. And both the Kamma Jakaya and the Chitta Jakaya together, it starts producing a fine Rupa.
So, I want to ask you one more thing here. As you are saying, my confusion is, like, so you mean to say that the Gandhabba don't have a mind?
Chitta is the mind. So when you say,
so when the subtle form, when a person leaves the body, he becomes a Gandhabba. Okay.
Correct.
So now you are saying that. So what you are saying is the Gandhabba, like, you are separating Kamma and Chitta, both are separate entity. When the Gandhabba is formed, like one person leaves the body, when Gandhabba is formed, so in the Gandhabba there is no mind.
no, it's not like that. It's not like that. See, In fact, there are many other suttas. If you really see that, there are three suttas which I have shared. In that sutta, he asked this question: tell me how life begins. And then he says
Hmm.
that if there were no fuel at all, then only it ends.
So when you are saying fuel, fuel means these four factors. Uttuz
No,
Rupa, Uttuz
fuel.
Niyama.
No. Fuel is the chitta. Chitta is the fuel. When I say chitta, we have to understand what chitta is. So the 9 stages of vijnana is what chitta is. So whenever Buddha uses this chitta ja kaya, that means kaya collection created out of chitta. So when I say chitta is coming, chitta is going, what is coming and what is going? So I need to know that the chitta has started as a pure light, and then it has gone into mano, manasan, hadayan, like that, and then it is vijnana, vijnana khanda. So now if I were to really understand what is happening, what is that it's really happening? Can I see what is happening? Then I need to understand that if karma is there, okay, if the deed is there, then the nama rupa will get established. The question comes, how does it get established? To get established, it is called jati. How does the jati happen to be? The jati happens to be due to kammaja kaya being there. The kamma collection is being there. Now for the kamma to fructify, to have something, because just a land, to
So kamma is stored in the chittas.
exactly, but
Okay,
now,
exactly.
no, that's correct, but we have to
Okay.
understand all the four. How this whole, see, we have jati, then the question comes, what is sanjati? Then question comes,
Hmm.
what is vakkanti? Then what is abhinibhatti? Then khandanam patu bhavu, ayatanam patilapu. So we have to go till there. If we don't get there, we will never know how Gandhabba gets formed. Got the point?
Okay,
First we
first
need
you
to
explain
know.
all these terms.
First we need to know how Gandhabba is formed, how I am formed, how you are
Hmm.
formed, how anybody is formed. And then we can see if you are a Gandhabba moving from one to another, then we say Paraloka. What
Hmm.
it means. Transmigration means what? What moves? Whether I move, I as in the six senses, or I as in what? What is that it is moving? What is that is getting a new birth? Whether I am getting a new birth, or six senses are getting a new birth, or a combination of that is getting a new birth. This is what we need to understand. So, first and foremost, we need to know all of this, and then only we can understand. Okay, now this is the Gandhabba. When he says Utu, that is Utuni hoti, that is Mata Utuni hoti, what it means is that for it to enter, which is Okkanti, so we are yet to get into stage of Okkanti. We are still in Jati. Then we come to Sanjati. Then Okkanti, the third stage. When the mother comes to know that she is pregnant,
Hmm.
until that time, it's just a conscious is joined, and then it is doing something. So that is the reason in that sutta which I shared with you, he asked this question. Indra asked this question, that how does the body come to be? So he explains there. You have read that. He
Yes, I have
explains.
read it.
So
Very small sutta.
yes, he explained. So now he has explained on the kaya. Which kaya? The body. We have to see from the chitta, right? So the kaya, karaja
Hmm.
kaya, we have understood now. Kamma kaya, we are understanding. Then with chitta kaya, then utu kaya. So we need to understand 4 kayas, and then we know what is Gandhabba. Got
Okay.
it. Got it. So
And you also and you are talking about this Sanjati, Okanti, and the other one is what is the other one?
abhinibhatti.
Avinavakti. So first you explain all this the terms. What is
Yeah,
Jati?
I'm
What is
going to explain. So
Sanjati?
you leave me, then
And
only I
Okanti.
can explain.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So first is jati. Is when we say birth, it's not the baby coming outside. It is a kammajakaya which is there. That means accumulation of kamma. That means field is ready for experience. Okay. Which field? Kamma is the field. We might ask, what is this field? Field is gochara. So for the grazing, you have the field ready. So grazing can be done through eyes, and ears, and nose, and tongue, and body, and the mind. This is how
Correct.
the kamma is created. When I say I'm creating kamma, positive, negative, whatever kamma it means the grazing is happening. So that is happening at the jati stage. For that jati to happen, it requires two things. One is it should have a chitta, and another one is utu. Without that, it cannot take shape. There's nothing that can take shape. That means shaping in the sense that the manomaya kaya, what is called as manomaya kaya, is a combination at present of kammajakaya, utujakaya, chittajakaya, and karajakaya is waiting. Yes, Shreyas.
So I have a question about the field. So when you say the field is now set for the Gochara, is it because of the deeds of the previous life?
It can be previously. I'll tell you one example. So which has happened today. There was a tailor well known to us, and then I was trying to get. I went to do something with my son, and I see that they had put a pendal kind of a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they had kept the body in an ice cooler.
Mm.
So I wanted to find out who it is. So I came back home and I took my wife, and then we went there, and they said the tailor has passed away this morning. And then he was having coffee, he was all right, and then suddenly he felt there's something happening in his chest, and then he was feeling uncomfortable and he got into breathlessness. So we wanted to take him to the hospital. He died. This is the story. Now we can dissect exactly what all is what all. So the kamma of this body is ceased.
Correct.
Clear. That means jati, sanjati, okkanti, abhinibhatti, kandanam patu bhavo, ayatanam patilabo is this whole sequence for jati has ended.
Complete.
That means even if we were to take a abhidhamma, so the javana chittas, the 7 javana chittas have already completed. Now it is waiting. So the chuti has happened. Chuti happens to chitta only. It doesn't happen to anything else. There is no kamma chuti, there is no utu chuti, there is no karacha chuti. There is only chitta. The chuti happens in the chitta. So what is then chitta? So the only definition what Buddha gives is pabhasaram idam chitta. That which is shining. So it is unadulterated light, if we were to take, which can give life due to jivita indriya. Now that is another thing, we'll come back later, but let's understand what has gone out. The jivita indriya has gone out. It's like talking about the battery is gone out. Okay.
Correct.
If the battery is not there, can the computer operate? And its idea, the thing is, no, it can't operate because it requires battery. Either you have to connect to the battery, or it is already having a battery, so it doesn't matter if battery is required. Now the battery itself is not there. So what do? Will that operating system work? Yes, it will work. Why? The chitta is there, but it doesn't have any other mechanism for it to work. So what is required? Kamma is required. Now if you ask me a question, whether the previous kamma made this one or that one, it becomes a very realistic way of putting it. It can be any combination. So Buddha, what he says when it comes to kamma, he says is a field. Simple, take it as a field. It's just an empty field. It has, if you give moisture, if you give seeds, it is going to produce result.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now kammajakaya is just the field of experience. You just, the chitta, when it shines on that, or when it comes into that, there's an experience. Who is experiencing? Nama Rupa. So we will go to that later. But presently we will have to understand that when I say jati, jati is not just one thing. It is Jati, Sanjati, Okkanti, Abhinibatti, Khandanam Patu Bhavu, Ayatanam Patilapo. So this is a complete sequence with which this happens. So for the first stage of Jati is only Kamma Jakaya. First step.
Got it.
If there were no Kamma, then there is other things are not required. So this tailor who died today, whatever Kamma is for him, the Chitta, he has taken it. So the Chitta Jakaya with the Kamma Jakaya now will search for the appropriate home with Utu Jakaya. So that stage when the Chitta Jakaya, the Utu Jakaya and Kamma Jakaya come together to form a unit is Sanjati, because now it has joined together. Sanjanana is another word used, is to combine. So now it is combined. It's not single, it's just combined. How did it combine? You know, we can even ask, how does it combine? So Buddha says, as long as there is fuel, there is going to be fire. If you were to look at only the fire without the fuel, it's not possible. If you only take the fuel and no fire, that is also not possible. So as long as you have fuel, so the fire. The fuel is what? Chitta. Or we can say a combination of Kamma, Utu and Chitta is the fuel, and the fire which you are seeing burning as this person is the fire. So the fuel and the fire. As long as ahara is there, so the experience is going to be there. So now we have Sanjati. So now what happens? The Pasada Rupa is again we come into Abhidhamma portion of it. The Pasada Rupa, Dasaka, 10. So 8 plus 2. Okay. We'll keep on adding in Chakku, Sota, Ghana, Jivha, Kaya, Mano. Okay. So now it keeps on adding. What happens? Then you have Jiviti Indriya, then Itti Indriya, Purisa Indriya. These three things will get added. Now I can say, how do I become a man or a woman or a human or a goat or a sheep or this or that? How does it happen? It happens due to the blueprint what I have kept in my past. Meaning the seeds are the consciousness. So each seed has definitive amount of existence in terms of what it should exist as. So the bhava is already there. It becomes something. I become something. I have made that volition, or I can made the preparation. I have made choices, the sankhara. So basically when I create a sankhara, that is stored in the bija. And these bija, when it is put on the soil of kamma, and I give the necessary, what I can say, moisture, tanha, through tanha, craving, it sprouts. So how does it sprout? This fine body, manomaya kaya, with utu and kamma and the chitta, when it is a kind of translucent with spreading with light, which is said in the Aganya Sutta, when it is mind made, he uses the word mind made, is Gandhabba. That means Kammajakaya, Utujakaya, Chittajakaya coming together to experience something, whatever that can be experienced. Whether as a Deva experience or a Brahma experience or as a animal experience or a Preta experience or a human experience or whatever that bija has to experience, has to sprout, is Gandhabba. So Jati, Sanjati, at the Sanjati stage, the Gandhabba gets formed. Which type of Gandhabba? Can it be a human Gandhabba or a Deva Gandhabba or what Gandhabba? So now there is a word in Sanskrit and in Pali. Sanskrit is Gandharva and in Pali Gandhabba is a realm of existence itself. Okay. It shouldn't be confused with this Gandhabba what we are talking. That means the Gandhabba can be anything. It can be a human, it can be animal, it can be Deva, it can be Brahma, it can be anything. It need not be When I say Gandhabba, it is only a human. This is applicable for all kind of jati. It need not be only a human jati. So now we might ask a question, what about the Deva? What about the Brahma? They don't have any life, but they have Hadaivattu. All of them have Hadaivattu. So the Rupa is not there. So
one more thing I want to ask you here. Like,
sure.
suppose now, when we see, like, now, the human body is different from the animal body,
Correct.
and the different from the insect's body.
Correct.
But in the case of Gandhabba, all the Gandhabbas are same.
Yes.
We cannot identify like
No,
this
you cannot
Gandhabba is.
identify until we go to the last portion. Until we go into
Okay.
the Ayatana, you can't really make out what kind of Gandhabba it is.
When the Gandhabba is like it is about to born, then only we can see.
Yes,
we
then
can say that this is it.
yes, so we can see. Until that time, you just have to know that this is what Gandhabba is. That is, Chitta, Kamma, and Utu is the only thing called as Gandhabba. There is no other thing called as Gandhabba. So now my question comes: Can it be a rat? Can it be a cat? Can it be a human? Can it be a what insect? Can it be a Deva?
But sir, still, suppose now, as we are discussing, all the Gandhabba, the quality of Kamma is different.
Yes.
As
So
a
they
person,
will
as
have
a
it.
human being.
Correct.
Huh.
So the bija, like he gives an example. You really seen. He says neem plant. If the bija is neem, you cannot get mango. You have to read in between the suttas where he explains. See, the same questions are asked in a different way. So this one question. If bija is consciousness, then how does it know? So Buddha gives an answer. The bija has the quality, what it should be. That is the reason it's called bhava. Bhava pachaya jati. It has the quality. Now, if you ask me how did it get the quality, it's because of upadana. And how did upadana happen? It's because of tanha. And how did tanha happen? Because of vedana. How did vedana happen? So the patisamutpata cycle, if you really see, gives us a complete picture of how the world of six senses and the world of beings get formed, sattva, how it is formed, and in Sanskrit, sattva, how it is formed. So when you say being is sattva or sattva, how it is formed? It is formed by the quality what it has possessed in the bhava. And when it possesses, how did it possess? Because it kept on holding on to that, whatever it wanted to possess. So it had upadana. Upadana pachaya bhava. Now bhava pachaya jati. So now I can keep on going back, and then I find avidya is the cause of all of these things. So the Gandhabba formation itself is due to avidya. Okay. Now whichever Gandhabba that is, whether it's a Deva Gandhabba or a human Gandhabba or animal Gandhabba or whatever Gandhabba, it is fine.
If you see the planes of existence, like there are three lokas. Buddha talks about the three lokas: Sankhara loka, Kasa loka, like this. So when like the Rupa loka, like the human form, the Kama loka where we exist, human beings and animal beings. So the Gandhabba, like when a person, the Gandhabba leaves the body. So like in all the lokas, the Gandhabba exists in the same plane. Like where the Gandhabba exists
We have to
exactly.
use planes in a very different way as indicated in Aganya Sutta. So let's go to that once we are understanding this. If you have read the first section of Aganya Sutta, after he speak to Bharadwaja and all that, and if you see, he says after a while the world expands and it contracts and everything after that happens. He says that how it comes to be. So he uses the word Manomaya Kaya. Manomaya Kaya is nothing but Gandhabba. There are two terms used simultaneously. It can be interchangeably. One is a Manomaya Kaya and one is Gandhabba. So when do you use Gandhabba and when do you use Manomaya Kaya? When you are explaining that there is a being, Buddha uses normally Manomaya Kaya and is used in Samanya Pala Sutta also on the Manomaya Kaya. And it is used in Aganya Sutta. It is also used in Sangiti Sutta. In fact, Sangiti Sutta gives you a complete explanation of this. How Gandhabba itself, it is explained in 4 stages. He gives that in the Sangiti Sutta DN 33. You read, you will come to see how Sariputta explains. And he goes deeper into it. We might not really read so much to understand it, but he gives a complete deeper exposition of how this Gandhabba happens. Whatever case may be, these two terms, that is Manomaya Kaya and the Gandhabba, are used interchangeably. When I am explaining the concept of Gandhabba, he uses, like in the Nidana Sutta, he wants to explain how the womb entry happens. So he doesn't use this Manomaya Kaya there. He uses Gandhabba. Okay. And whenever he uses Gandhabba, we need to know that it is about 4 Kaya coming together, which is Chitta, Utu, and Kamma and Karajakaya. These are
so does Gandhabba occupy some space?
Yes, it would occupy space. Yes, it would.
In the case of matter, okay.
Yes. Now he calls it as a fine matter. Now, what is this fine matter? What is this fine material stage? If you have seen,
so yes. In that case, like in the same space, two body cannot exist. Like in the
it cannot. Like it will not exist. It will not exist in that way. That's the reason it's called as concentric circle. Chakkabala is a concentric circle. So you will not.
That's yesterday we were discussing about the Nama and Rupa, and you said that you have this experience in your like.
I'm going to come to that. Hold on. Let us first finish this. See, if we add many things and then it becomes thoroughly confusing. First, we understand what is Jati. How Gandhabba turns itself into a human or an animal or whatever that is, right? So first you need to know that. And then we can come into each one of these to see that, okay, if it's a Deva, where it will be. If it's a Brahma, where it would be. Like indicated in the Uposatta Sutta. Again, there's another Sutta where he explains it thoroughly. So we need to first understand the meaning of Satta. What is Satta? Sabbe Satta Aharatika. If he is using that word, Sabbe Satta Aharatika, what is that? What is this Satta? Sanskrit Sattva, what it means. So Sattva is used for essence and also used for being. A being comes to be. How does a being comes to be? He is talking about Jati, Sanjati, Okkanti, Abhinibhatti, Khandanam Patu Bhavo, Ayatanam Patilapo. This is what 6 of them is what he calls Jati. So now if
progression, it is a progression of all, like how the womb developed, like in a progression.
It is a progression. It is not first it becomes like that. So first we need to know if there were no to be Kamma Jakaya, there were no Kamma collected, would any life form come to be? And the answer is no. If only Chitta is there without Kamma, can any life form come to be? No, it's not. If only Utu were to be there, if any life form can come to be? No. Only when Kamma Jakaya, Utu Jakaya, Chitta Jakaya come to be, then the life form comes to be as Gandhabba. How? If the person is not having craving, the Chitta is pure. If the Chitta is pure, it has no fuel now. Fuel is completely exhausted. So the Kamma is useless now. That's how he escapes Adinava to Nissarana. The escape from that is to not crave for anything, so that you cut the Kamma getting attached to this. Because the field is there. You can't do anything about the field. But don't put the seeds. Remove the seed. Don't put the seed. So if you consciously put the seed and you put craving to that, it's going to come. Don't put it. So what Buddha found is cut the craving. Tanhanangaya majjaga. This is what he did. Otherwise, there's no way you can break it. Because Gandhabba keeps on happening. Whether this Gandhabba, that Gandhabba, doesn't matter. It's going to be there. First and foremost, I need to know where is the problem. The problem is with sineho. That is moisture. Moisture is tanha. And he explains that also in that same Sachavi Bhanga Sutta on what is this, and even in the what is that? Dhamma Chakka Pavattana Sutta. On what is tanha? Tanha Puno Bhavika Nandiraga Sahagata Tatravi Tatravi Nandini Se iti idam. Kamatanaha, Bhavatanaha, Vibhavatanaha. Now, how did this come? It's in there in the Chitta. And Chitta carries this seed, which can be put into the ground of Kamma. So, Kamma, Chitta, Utu, you require environment. Utu is also temperature, Utu is also environment. So, if you give an environment to it, these three things, then the Gandhabba gets formed. So, it's a formed, it's a Sankara. So, Gandhabba per se is not an individual, it is Sankhara. Sabbe Sankhara Anichyati Yadapanyaya Pasati. Now I am able to see it, that the being is nothing but a Sankhara, not really a person, not really a Satta. Now I can see. I got it. Yadapanyaya Pasati Athanibiddati dukkhe eso maggo visuddhiya. Now I understand that this is anicca, because the chitta can change, the utu can change, the kamma can change, because the field can change. It can be a fertile one, it can also be non-fertile one. It all depends on sineho and also the bija. If there is no bija, then what will the ground do? Think. If Chitta is not there at all, what will the ground and that sineho going to do? Nothing it's going to do. So he found out, you make the seed inoperable or non-fertile, meaning you remove the energy from the seed by chitta anupassana. Now when you see the chitta, don't allow the raga, dvesha, moha to come on the chitta. So you become virakta. Virakta is blood. Virakta is remove that, meaning you don't see it with a light where you start identifying with that. Don't do it. So the chitta is pure. Done. Done what is to be done. So one of that is gone, the Gandhabba gets disintegrated. Completely disintegrated. So this is something extraordinary found by the Buddha. So he first found out how it happens. So Kamma has to be there, Chitta has to be there, environment has to be there, then only a Gandhabba can get formed. This formation is Sankhara. So that is the reason he says Avijja Pachaya Sankhara. It's not about the normal Sankharas, it is from there. Now the womb entry itself he will explain through the 12 ling cycle. Otherwise there was no need for him to talk about Jati, Jara, Marana, Soka, Parideva, how it is related. Not related. Because this is formed, now you have a problem. That's the reason it's dukkha, because now the Gandhabba is formed. Now we'll go further. So now as soon as it acquires what? It acquires something, a shape thing, because the chitta is having an ability to produce something. The vijnana is a bija, so it makes it conscious. What happens then? This kammaja, chittaja, utuja kaya will now acquire a fine material. This is what is a rupa loka is all about. Not a arupa loka, the rupa loka, the fine material form, that is from the 5th realm to the 16th realm, which is the kama loka, which also includes human life. That realm, which is pure fine material existence, very fine material existence, where the disappearance and appearance is at will. In the human, appearance and disappearance is not at will. You will be seen. That is, this Gandhabba will be seen with this body. It's a gross body. So wherever we go, you can't escape, because you have to now get tortured. That is what he says in that Kajjaniya Sutta, that you have to get tortured. So you will get tortured by wind, you will get tortured by sun, you will get tortured by gladflies, you will get tortured by mosquitoes, snake, etc., etc. Why? Because it's become gross. The Manomaya Kaya is subtle, but the body which is growing on top of this is gross. That means you can't escape. So now the process before it became human was only a fine material body, which is also there in Aganya Sutta. That's fine material body. And they are enjoying the mind made. So there is nothing which is grossly attaching to it. Then he says in the Aganya Sutta, they eat that, savor that, whatever they are seeing, and their body starts becoming gross. So the Gandhabba loses its manomaya kaya status and starts to pick up the gross body. So now we come into the next stage where the dasaka, the 10, gets formed. 8 plus 2 in kaya, chakku, sota, gana, jivha. And it gets arranged over the Hadaivattu. Now we might ask, when did Hadaivattu get formed? Hadaivattu got formed because of the Chittajakaya, Kammajakaya being there. And that is the experiencer continuously going between different life cycles, which is the source of Nama Rupa. So whenever I say I am, I'm actually meaning Hadaivattu. And that has all the stored experiences. So whenever the light falls on that, you can reflect back and I was doing this, I was doing that. In my past life, I was like this and like that. And that is what Hadaivattu is. So Hadaivattu is there with every realm of existence. So the Gandhabba already has the Hadaivattu. So the Gandhabba now can stay for a long period of time, which is called a paraloka, till an appropriate situation arises in the Utu. Now it is conditioned, sankata. Okay. That condition, that is anicchata and sankata. This is paticca samutpanna. How did it arise? How did it come to be? Because of anicca nature, which is in that formation, it has gone to the next stage, which is the sankata. So when it is sankata, conditioned, what is conditioned now? The house has to be made. So based upon the Utu, the house gets made. Environment. If they are not supposed to be in this environment, in that bija, you will never be in that environment. If another bija comes, you are supposed to be in that environment, that environment get developed. Then another environment, then another environment. So the karma keeps on getting experience to the chitta. So the chitta can experience all the time, whether with the body, without body, doesn't matter. There's an experience going on. So the bhava keeps on channelizing what it should become at this moment and this moment and this moment, like that. And then the if you look at the Abhidhamma way of seeing it, the Javana Chitta, the Chitta and the Chetasika, they are joining together to form the stream, which is the Chitta Viti, that is stream of Chitta, which is going. So is Utujakaya based on Kammajakaya? No, it's not based, it is conditioned by Kammajakaya. Utu can only come, environment can come only if Kamma is there. If there were no Kamma, there can't be any Utu, meaning there cannot be any environment created. So everything is dependent on Kamma, but Kamma cannot do anything on its own, so it requires Chitta. And when the Chitta and the Kamma are together, the environment gets created. So this environment creation is what the Dasak or the Hadaivattu is all about. It knows how to create the environment. So it creates. It's not I am creating, it is a creation. This is what is called as Shrishti. Okay, that means you have created something. That means I gets created there. The Gandhabba now can recognize I am in the Hadaivattu. So now it will exist for a long time before the Utu, that is the season or the condition, not the condition, sorry, the environment gets changed. Now when the house becomes available, so Buddha says this, Gahakara, So Aneka Jati Sansaran Sandhavisan Aninbisan Gahakara Gave Santo. That means now Gahakara, I went in search of the Gahakara, the house maker. How did I make the house? I made the house out of Chitta. I made the house out of Kamma. And the environment got created. Now this environment, when it is ready, will make this fine Gandhabba, okay, which is invisible because it doesn't have any rupa, meaning it has a fine material form. It doesn't have the gross material form. Now the parents are having a sexual intercourse. So there are 4 stages in that. The first stage is the father has the valid sperms, and the sperms have vinyana. That means it has life, and it can sustain the travel between from his body to her body to the mother's body, and able to penetrate into the egg in the fallopian tube, and the egg is able to get released from the fallopian tube. If this much of work has happened, then the environment is perfect. Utu is there. Now this Utu, which is also part of the Gandhabba, now this, if the father, the so-called father is not ready and the mother is ready, nothing will happen. If mother is not ready and the father is ready, nothing is going to happen. If father is ready, the mother is ready, but no Gandhabba is there, also it will not happen because the house is not ready. Meaning the Kamma did not satisfy the condition for the Chitta to experience it. So the land on which this seed is unsuitable. So the Gandhabba cannot enter, basically, even though it is seeing so many beings in the sexual intercourse, it doesn't get it. Okay. Now, this also rule applies to Opapattika, that is instantaneously born. These are the Devas. So, if the Gandhabba at that point in time takes on the bhava of a Deva due to the Chitta, which is pure enough to get into the Deva realm, it will escape completely this sexual union. Completely means it cannot see. So it lands into a Opapattika. It instantly gets the body. Which body? It will solidify itself into the form what is required for that realm of existence. Because Chitta only can do that. No other thing can do. So the Chitta has the power to do this, and that's the reason it is Chitta into Vijnana. Right? So the Vijnana, what we are talking about, will establish, because it's a magician. That's what he calls in the Pena Pindupama Sutta, that it is a magician. Vijnana is magician. What does he say? Maya Upamancha Vijnanam. So now this is a magician. So it can take anything it wants based upon what is appearing in the Chitta. So let's say I have my Sila and I have my Samadhi, I have the Panya, I have done what needs to be done. And I am an Anagami, that means non-returner. As soon as the body breaks here, the Gandhabba which comes out will not be able to see any Kamaloka kind of experience, because the Chitta doesn't carry the seed to be put in the land of Kamma. So the Utu, that is that environment, is a Deva environment or a Brahma environment, as simple as that. There's nothing else which is happening. So the environment is provided to land. There are many suttas where Buddha talks about landing at death, landing after death and all that. This is what it is. So you land. You land in that bhumi, in that plane of existence. So the Gandhabba now shifts itself from a human to a Brahma, and goes into the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, like that realm of existence. And then the four Arupa realms. They are starting with Akashanchayatana to the last one, which is Neva Sanya, Na Sanya Ayatana. That's the 31st. So from the 5th realm to the 16th realm, it's a fine material body. 5th realm is what? Is a Chatu Maharajaka. And that is a first fine material existence. In some talks about the Asura, and some it talks about the Chatur Maharaja. Whatever it is. So the Chatu Maharajaka is the one where this person would land as indicated in the Uposatta Sutta. That if somebody is practiced Uposatta in the way what Buddha wants to be practiced, the 5 Uposatta, worst case scenario, he will be reborn. That means the Gandhabba now appears. The environment is changed from a human kind of experience to the Chatu Maharaja experience. That's all what happens. This is the transformation. So Utu transforms from one to another. That's the environment. And that's all what it is. So when we go to the retreat, the environment is changed. When you come in the house, the environment is changed. The Utu is changing. The Chittas are appearing based upon the Utu. So how I was doing my Vipassana in that place is different than how I am doing here, because the Utu is different. Now I have to adjust myself to this Utu. I have to adjust to that Utu. But it is dependent on Parami. If my Parami is good here, the Utu is taken care. If my Parami is bad, then the Utu is not taking care. So basically, all my achievement in that retreat is gone because the Utu doesn't satisfy. Because the Kamma, that's a problem. The land is not suitable, but the bija what I am putting is Kama. So here in this home and in this place, I can only experience the sensuality rather than what I was experiencing in the retreat. So what I should do? Create an environment. Utu. Can you create it? No, it dependent on Parami. If the Parami is there, you will go there. If the Parami is not there, you can't go there. Simple. So the Gandhabba landing is also same. So now what happens? Now it requires a moment. That moment, when it makes that decision based upon the Kamma holding it, it is shaking. That is, the Chitta is shaking. So that is the reason it's called Javana Chitta. It's on shaking, like a blade being hit and the blade is shaking like this. So when it starts Alambana, Alambana means it's falling. It's leaning towards it. Once it starts leaning towards it, it picks up. When it picks up, and that picking time is Okkanti. Okkanti means it is now coming to be. So now it merges. Where it merge? How it merge? Okay. Now the house is prepared. When did it get prepared? Yeah, one sexual union, the egg was eaten, the zygote happens, and then the blastocyst happens. So now what medically in the IVF also they have found out is there is no life form in the blastocyst, even though there is life kind, unless it is inserted back in the uterus of the mother, no life form exists. And that is true. And Buddha found it long time ago. Now they are scientifically finding it. So what really happens is the Gandhabba has a chance even now to exit that house. How? If the seed is inoperable, that is, the seed changes, it can escape. If it escapes, just the body falls down. So in the Mahanidana Sutta, Buddha asked this question to Ananda. Ananda, can you define something, adivachana, on a Patigga Sanya, when this Nama Rupa and Vijnana is happening, and the mother womb, this has Gandhabba has arisen into the mother's womb, Okkanti has happened, but is exit instantaneously. Can you now say growth, maturity and all that? And Ananda says no, not possible. Because the chitta has changed. So no longer it is suitable. So sankhara is not suitable for that. So it exists. So it doesn't exist, it exits. It moves out. Assuming it doesn't move out and then the Okkanti happens, now it becomes into an embryo, which is the Pesi. Third stage of development. It takes 45 days for this formation to happen. So within 45 days, no life form can persist. So it's like I go to a home, I negotiate with the owner for the loan or for the rent, and I don't like this house for some reason. It's not working out. So I will not even go back again. And the owner is waiting. Today he will come, tomorrow he will come. He keeps on calling me. Vilas, you have seen the house. I think you are happy. What do you say? I said, no, I've still not decided. If decision has happened, is Okkanti. Now the fourth kaya has to come because the decision has happened. Now when it picks up, the mother starts giving the food for it. Now from there onwards, the Karaja kayas get, depending upon the type of experience it should be. It's an animal, it's a bird, it's an insect, whatever, Andaja, Utuja, whichever ja it is. So the Utuja is also there. Andaja is there. Utuja is moisture driven also is there. Okay. So you can have three kind of existence. Akasa, second existence is Vayu, and the third existence is Patvi. Existence. So you choose. Who chooses? That Gandhabba chooses. On what basis does it choose? There's different formation. In some books, they make Sankhara as formation, which looks appropriate in certain aspect because it's getting formed. It's not real, it's just formed. So the Gandhabba is a formed one. It's not real. There's no real Gandhabba. There's no absolute Gandhabba. And that's the reason Buddha never answered whether you have an Atma or Anatma. Tad Jivam, Tad Shariram, Anyam Jivam, Anya Shariram. He never answered that. Because Gandhabba is a formed one. It's a Sankhara one. How can you give something that it is absolute? Yes, Tam Jivam, Tam Shariram means the body and the Jiva are the same. After breaking away, there ends it. Is one extreme. Uchcheda. And here, Anyam Jivam, Anyam Shariram. That means this Gandhabba is a permanent thing now. It can permanently exist and ultimately join Brahman. No, it is Sankhara. It's formation. It's prepared. It's conditioned. So whatever is conditioned, how can you take it as real? So he doesn't answer. Even though Vacha asks and keeps on asking and keeps on asking, he says, no, I will not give you the answer. Why? Because it's Okkanti. It has got established on its own due to Kamma, Chitta, Utu. Now Karajakaya is happening. So can I call Karajakaya itself as a real one now? No. Now this whatever form has a blueprint in the Chitta. So now it requires a Jivita Indriya, the battery. A battery comes for how long? In a human, 100 years. In a dog, 12 years. In a Deva, X number of years. In a Brahma, X number of years. Still a battery, Jivita Indriya. So in the last, if you really see in the Parinibbana Sutta, Buddha, what did he do? He surrendered his Jivita Indriya. And this is the main thing we need to understand. Jivit Indriya comes now with Itti Bhava Purisa Bhava, meaning Itti Indriya Purisa Indriya. So, depending upon the Chitta, what should be formed. Now, the Itti and the Purisa happens in this realm of existence. Assuming it can be a human or an animal or whatever it is, and then the Itti and Purisa happens. But what about Deva? There is no Itti and Purisa. There is no sexes. Where it is written, Aganya Sutta. There is no sex. So the first thing you need to cut out if you want to go there is to not have sex. Because who is having sex? The experience, right? So the experience is Chitta. So don't take sex in the Chitta. You take it, Brahmacharya is in the Chitta. Don't bring anything that can give you the same life again. You cut it. Cut the craving. Craving for feminine body. You cut it. You cut it. You cut it. And then from the Chitta it is gone. Once it's gone from the Chitta, Kama Chanda is gone completely. Then there's no, it becomes pure. Of what? No sexes, no Itti Indriya, no Purisa Indriya. It's so nice now. There's no two Indriyas. Adaivattu still is there. It requires Jivita Indriya. Jivita Indriya will be given to you. That will be there. And it runs till the battery lasts. So simple, you keep on charging and charging and charging. Like with eat food, Jivita Indriya get charged. Again exhaust, again charge, again exhaust, again charge. So you keep on charging depending upon whatever Gandhabba it is. It's a human Gandhabba or animal Gandhabba, whatever Gandhabba. So Sabbe Satta Aharatika. Now you can say this is a Satta. It is a Sattva. How? You go to the hospital and they scan and they see that there is something there. That is how you can see it. Now, what is growth, maturity and all? The Gandhabba, as soon as it starts eating food, it starts to grow. Who starts to grow? Utu, Chitta, Kamma, Ahara, which is Karajakaya, expansion. So, from the Pesi onwards, it branches out and it starts expanding. So, what happens? The Manomayakaya have the nervous system. It creates another nervous system on the physical. So when we sit for body contemplation as Vipassana, you're basically experiencing the Manomayakaya. Basically. And that's the reason when the Bhanga happens, you are in the Mano. So you can't experience any physical thing any longer. So the Dhara Pravaha is nothing but the free flow of energy, which is just the Chitta.
Correct.
So now there is no physical form. That's the reason you are very happy. Because that is your natural state. That's the Gandhabba what you wear. And now you have become this gross body. So what are you doing? You are going into the Kalapa level to see beyond, before Okkanti, which is the previous one, Sanjati. And in that, there was no human, there was no animal, there was nothing. It's just a fine matter. Fine matter. So you have come from Ayatana into, now you're landing into where? Sanjati. It's a beautiful experience to have. And that is the Bhanga. That's exactly the Bhanga. You are let go of it. You let go of the physical body, Karajakaya. Should be the highest experience. If at all, that's an experience. And that's true. It's the highest experience. So there's no doubt on that. So when we experience that, then what happens? This growth will get into Abhinibhat. What is Abhinibhati? Now it creates a womb across that embryo, becoming more thicker and thicker, and the heart starts beating on its own. Now it becomes independent. It was dependent. Now it is independently beating. So when they do the scan on the 90th day, they find that this small creature is inside and his heart is beating. My heart is beating, and that is the exact, what we can say, battery. Now it is battery operated vehicle. Till the heart, Hadayavattu, gets into the Javana Chitta, it is going to be there. The Gandhabba has life. The moment the time comes, the Chuti should happen. Hadayavattu starts to shake again. When it shakes, Bhavanga is gone. There's no continuity. It's cut. So it becomes cheda, cutting. When it cuts, it has to wait. Obviously, it has to wait. Goes back to the initial stage. What was the initial stage? Kammajakaya, Chittajakaya, Utujakaya, Gandhabba. It waits for the next thing to arise. Now let's continue from where we left. So that's the reason what he says, Okkantiya sati namarupa. Until that time, there is no namarupa. Namarupa pachaya salayatana. Salayatana pachaya phassa. Phassa pachaya vedana. Now that life starts. So now the person gets formed. How? Once this thing, abhinibhatti, happens, the next step is to get the ayatana. For ayatana, it requires khanda. It requires rupa khanda, vedana khanda, sanya khanda, sankhara khanda, vinyana khanda. It requires the individual boxes to get attached to this Gandhabba for experiencing. I am experiencing the rupa, the feeling, the perception, all of that. So now the six indriya, meaning indriya gochara, has transformed itself into the five khandas. Now when this happens, it's called khandanam pati labho. Pati means to bond. Labha means profit. It gets the profit of experiencing now. Now you can experience completely. I can say rupavantam. It is rupam attato samanupasati rupavantam va attanam attani va rupam. Like that I can experience. And same with vedana, sanya, sankhara, vinyana. Now when this baby, we now have to use baby. Why? Because nama rupa is already established. Now you call it as a baby. So when it is entering into the 7th month, a beautiful thing happens. Ayatana gets developed. So now it starts hitting its mother stomach. So the mother will feel, baby is going, so this one and that one. Now it starts urinating. It will start having its own feces. It will sweat. It will smile. It will cry. It will do everything in that liquid, embryotic fluid. And the final stage is ayatana is completely developed to experience. So from the 6th month onwards till the 10th month, 4 months or 3.5 months, it undergoes all that it should undergo outside the womb. So all of us have experienced death, near death experience, hunger, thirst, everything. We have experienced. And when the skull is sitting in the pelvic region, again it experiences death. So we have experienced all of that. Because ayatana will give you the experience. Till now, till the 6th month, there was no ayatana experience. It's only khanda experience. So it's reasonably fair. Now you have ayatana. Ayatana is solid, gochara. You experience it completely. This is the fun. So now this is the stages it passes in the Satya Vibhanga Sutta under Jati. We need to know how the Gandhabba happened. Now this is the Gandhabba entering into the womb. Whichever womb it is, animal womb, human womb, that womb, this womb, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now every time Gandhabba comes out, yeah, it comes out. How? You do Vipassana, you come out. Anytime you do Vipassana, you come out. And hence you feel very happy about it. Right? Where it is written. Read the Samanya Pala Sutta, 4th jhana. And he gives you, it's in white, pure white. You should, it's instantaneously you should be able to understand that the chitta is pure and bright. And the chitta chakaya, in its purest form, can do anything. It can go to Deva, it can go and meet the Brahma, it can do whatever it wants. Because it has no barrier. Only the Utu is not matching. Environment is not matching. If it can be provided with the environment, beautiful. So the Gandhabba is called as Manomayakaya, and in Samanya Palasutta he talks about Manomayakaya, mind made, and he also gives example where you have a sword and you have a cover of the sword, you throw the cover and you take the sword. In the same way, you throw this body, this physical body, and you now go wherever you want. It's called astral travel. It's Gandhabba travel. Now, can you do in your normal stage Gandhabba travel? Yes. Everyday sleep, deep sleep is Gandhabba travel only because there is no ayatana. There is no ayatana. So you are not experiencing anything. What are you experiencing? In a deep sleep, what do you experience? Nothing. So there is no ayatana. So you have gone back. Simple. Every day. Not one day. Every day. You don't know. That's all. If you know it, you will never be shocked. You will never be afraid of dying because there is no death. You are every day doing it. Every day you are going back. Every day you are going back. So what do we learn through Vipassana, whichever Vipassana that is to let go of the body. Well, that's all we do. Whichever method that is, however you do it, wherever you do it, it doesn't matter. What you do is you give up the body. And when you give up the body, the Karajakaya is not required. And Karajakaya is causing the problem. Now, Karajakaya is there because it is the Kamma. And in another sutta, Buddha explains this beautifully. He says, listen, my dear bhikkhus, the vortex, the sand, the mud which is there, that is the Kaya. So it is basically you're getting boiled in that. It's a good examples he gives. If you really see those examples, you can understand the pain, body pain, body itself is a hindrance because you can't move anywhere. Your original is to move anywhere at will. Now you require visa to go between one place to another place. You require a car to go to another place, or a bus, or this one or that one. Why? You just ask this question. Why? Karajakaya. It's a pain. And that's the reason he says, Pupipasa is Mara. Why? Because you have to keep on feeding. Keep on feeding. For what? You don't require it actually. You really don't require it. And whoever has experienced Bhanga in the Vipassana will be very happy. Why? Because he doesn't have to eat. It cuts hunger. It cuts thirst. Beautiful. Because there is no body. You are feeding the body. When the body itself is not there, why will you feel hunger and thirst? No required. Then you enter into arupa jhana, basically. Now you can go into infinite space, in infinite consciousness, infinite, then nothingness, and neither perception nor perception, because that's the state of the mind. Basically, that's the state of the mind. Chitta. That's the summary of this. So now we understand this much. Now we come into the section where we say bhuta or ghost. Same thing. There's nothing different there. You are seeing someone who doesn't have a body. And right now, as I am speaking, there can be thousands of them sitting and listening to what we are doing. Now we might ask a question, do they understand English then? Do they understand Pali? Do they understand this? No, it's not like that. It's not a language which is important. It's a vibration through which they understand. So that's the reason, before you start the discourses or whatever, there is a tradition. Samanta Chakkavalesu Atra Gachanti Devata Saddhamma Munirajasa Sunantu Soggamoggadam. What am I doing now? Dhamma. Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayam Bhadanta. Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayam Bhadanta. Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayam Bhadanta. If I am doing a chanting, Paritta, like if I am reciting Mangala Sutta, or if I am reciting Karaniya Metta Sutta or some other sutta where I want the beings to experience bliss, which is Gandhabba stage. So now tears will fall from that person's eyes if he is really concentrating on that, because he loses the experience of the body. His chitta is not having kampana. Yes, chitta doesn't have this kampana. Puttassa loka dhammehi chittam yasya na kampati. There's no kampana. If the chitta has kampana, that means it's gone. Tam yasya na kampati. Asokam virajam khemam etan mangalam uttam. So now if I understand this correctly, and also understand Karani Metta Sutta correctly, in the experience, tears will come. Why? Because you forget the body. And you dispose the body off. Anytime you lose the body, and that's the reason at the dying moment, the person indeed feels happy to come out of the body. The fear is to come out of the body. After coming out of the body, he doesn't want to get into the body. Why? Because it's burden. It's burdensome. But the kamma, there, the chitta will take form. Now, question, is the same chitta which is taking or a different chitta? As indicated in the Mahatanha Sankhya Sutta, Buddha did not wanted to give this categorical answer again, is because if it is same, you have one problem, because sankhara. If you say different, another problem. So he shouted at that fisherman, saying that, when did I teach you such a Dhamma to you? That you are asking me the same vijnana which goes from body to body. When did I teach you that? Why? Because it's depend on kamma, chitta, sineho. There is no craving, no formation. Means no sankhara. No sankhara, everything is gone. Avidya yatveva asesa viraga nirodho sankhara avidya nirodho sankhara nirodho. Sankhara nirodha namarupa nirodho. Namarupa nirodha, sorry, vinyana nirodho. Vinyana nirodha namarupa nirodho. Namarupa nirodha salayatana nirodha. Salayatana nirodha phassa nirodha, like that. So how can I now say there's a permanent soul or an atma residing, or anatma also? Both are wrong. So the English translation that impermanence, dukkha, suffering, and anatma is a fabricated or a wrong explanation, because Buddha never spoke about atma and anatma. The satta is not atma. Satta is Okkanti stage of the development. So it is coming from Sankhara. So that is the reason Indra also says this. What does he say? Anichyavata sankhara upadavaya dhammino upajjitva nirujjanti te san upasamos. You really understand it well. It is because it is formed, dukkha arises. If there were no formation, there is no dukkha. So it is, what is the samutpada? That is, iti imasmim sati idam hoti, imassa upada idam uppajjati. So, as long as the kammaja kaya, chittaja kaya, utuja kaya were to come into existence, come to be formed, iti imasmim sati, this is truth, that this happens. So that arises. What arises? Jati arises. What else will arise? Jati will arise. If jati will arise, everything will arise. What everything? Bhava will arise. If the bhava were to arise, upadana will arise. If upadana were to arise, then the tanha is going to be there. The tanha is going to be, vedana is going to be there. Vedana will never be there without the salaitana. So salaitana will be there. And salaitana cannot experience by itself. So phassa has to be there. So you see, phassa, salaitana, then namarupa, then vinyana, then avidya, then asava. So asava pachaya avidya, avidya pachaya sankhara, sankhara pachaya vinyana, vinyana pachaya namarupa, namarupa pachaya salaitana, salaitana pachaya phassa, phassa pachaya vedana, vedana pachaya tanha, tanha pachaya upadana, bhava, jati, jara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domana, supayasa, sambhavanti. Now we go into nirujjanti. How do you remove it? Don't have asavas. Asava khaya jnana. Over. Done. Sabba asava sutta. Understand the asavas. Start cutting one by one by one by one. Chitta has no asava. So no avidya. Avidya yatveva asesa viraga nirodha. Now we have come out of it. So no more Gandhabba. No more Gandhabba. Whichever realm it is, whether it is Brahma realm or this realm or that realm or even the Neva Sanya, Na Sanya realm to the lowest realm, it's a Gandhabba which is moving from one to another, which is formed. And it creates Namarupa. You cut it off. Done. Done what needs to be done. Arhat. So the difference between an Anagami and an Arhat is to see the Hadayavattu and cut the Tanha. And that's so 3 steps from the Vipassana what we do to get into the Hadayavattu. If we are able to get into Hadayavattu, we can see the Dasaka. Chakku Dasaka, Sota Dasaka, Ghana Dasaka, Jivha Dasaka, Kaya Dasaka. And then you can see how the Hadayavattu gets formed. Or when you cut it, the Jivita Indriya will end. At this very, not that moment, whenever it should end, it will end. But you have ended the Gandhabba before a Gandhabba gets formed. And hence Mara cannot find the Vinyana. Because the Chitta has escaped. So the Kamma ground doesn't have seeds now. What will it grow? When the Tanha itself, Tanha Gaya Majjaga, when he has cut the Tanha, Khaya, Tanha Khaya has happened. Where will he do whatever? So we can sing the song, Etan Santan, Etan Panitan, Yadidam Sabba Sankhara Samato. This Sankhara Samata. This Sankhara Samata. Sabbupadi Patini Saggo. Now all the asset making is gone. What is asset? Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vinyana. That is the Khandanam Patilabo. I have cut it off. So now no more Ayatana. If there is no more Ayatana, then what will be the past? Previous one. Abhinibhatti is not there. If Abhinibhatti is not there, then the previous one. Okkanti is not there. If Okkanti is not there, Sanjati is not there. If Sanjati is not there, the Jati itself is not there. If Jati itself is not there, how can you now say somebody is going to die? So, Jara Marana Soka Parideva Dukka Do Manas Upayasa Ambhavanti is removed. So, it doesn't matter whether the ghost will come and talk to me, or I will come and talk to the ghost, or like what we were discussing yesterday, that two people can enter or not enter. Nothing like that. You can have the Hadaivattu has the ability to interact with anyone, just like we are interacting. Three Hadaivattus are interacting. Aren't we interacting? Aren't we get influenced? Yes, we are getting influenced. What mean we are getting influenced? Who is getting influenced? The Chitta is getting influenced. You are getting the something in the Chitta. Can be Raga or Viraga, Dvesha or no Dvesha, Moha, Amoha. So you might get Advesha or Dvesha. Whatever it is, you are getting it. And other than that, you are getting Sankhitam Chittam, Vikhitam Chittam, Samahitam Chittam, Asamahitam Chittam. All that is happening as we are talking. So something is experienced by you, something is not experienced by you. So the Visikicha is also coming in the Chitta. That means doubt is coming. So you might ask me for some more doubts. And something is coming in my Chitta, which I am giving explanation. This is how it is. All happening in the Chitta Kshana, in that Chitta moment. So the Chitta Viti, the flow of Chitta, is pure, is Kusala, so only Dhamma will flow. Akusala, other than Dhamma, everything will flow. So Dveda Vitakka Sutta is on that. Why this is happening, why that is happening? Because the kleshas or asavas are flowing. Cut the asava. Kamasava, bhavasava, vijjasava. Ditti becomes perfect. Ditti asava is gone. At Sotapanna, Ditti asava is not. So, am I an anagami or anagami? No anagami. Am I a sakadagami or no sakadagami? Am I a sotapanna or no sotapanna? How do I know it? If you can understand how the Gandhabba is formed and you can see it for yourself, you have done your journey. At the highest level is anagami, at the conceptual level is sotapanna. In between the conceptual level and the experiential level is sakadagami. Over. Done. You can see it for yourself, because the Gandhabba is the one which will understand. Chitta is the one where this information will flow. So, Kaya Anupassana, Vedana Anupassana. Now we are in Chitta Anupassana. To have the Dhamma Anupassana. So, Dhamma Anupassana starts with what? Starts with Nivarna. First one. Then after that, what happens? After that, he talks about Khanda. Then he talks about Ayatana. You've seen what he talks about. And then he stops with what? Four Noble Truths. Jati pi dukkha. Now I understood. That means Sanjati has happened, Okkanti has happened, Abhinibhatti has happened, Khandhanam Patilabo, Khandhanam Partubhavo, Ayatanam Patilabo is the problem. Because now I have to be careful with this Karajakaya. So, now this pain I have to take. Every time it gets hungry, thirst, keep on putting water on this, cleaning it, go to the washroom, coming back, wear some dress, do this, do that. So now I have to only do through Pachavekana, reflection. So my Vipassana is on Pachavekana. I can do that Vipassana. I can also do this Vipassana of observing the breath. Ultimately, if I do that, Bhanga will happen. If I do this, Bhanga will happen. If I do in whichever method it is possible, Bhanga is going to happen. What the Bhanga will make? It will remove this Jati. So you are relieved. And this relief from suffering is what everybody wants. So the Nibbana Paramam Sukham. Why? Because this condition is not there. Which condition? Utu. There's no Utu. See, now when we do it in the retreat, there's no Utu. You don't care whether it is hot or cold or whatever it is. You have just left it. You don't even bother. So whether you're a Shunyagara, you're sitting in the Dhamma hall, you're sitting at your room, wherever, you don't care any longer. It means you have left the tanha, the kama tanha, to this body, kama tanha. Only what remains is bhavatanaha. You want to become something. That slowly will walk away. But kama tanha, you are cutting it off. If you certainly cut off entire kama tanha, you will never be reborn in a kama place. We think the Gandhabba now gets out of the womb. That's what he says in Karaniamatta Sutta. Nahi jatu gabbaseyam punare iti. How do I do it? Mata yata niyam puttam ayusam eka puttam anurakhi. So when I see you, Ashutosh, when I see Shreyas, or I see anyone, my wife or mother-in-law or my son or anyone, Ariyu or whoever it is, or all human beings, all beings, I need to see they're all Gandhabba only. They're no person, no Sat or Sattva. Then what happens? It will become like Mata Yata Niyam Puttam. I'm seeing like a mother with only one child. Ayusa Ekam Puttam Anurakhi. So she wants him to survive without any obstacle. Evampi Sabba Bhutesu. Now I do this with all the bhutas. Mana Sambhavaye Aparimanam. That is my mana, measurement. Sambhavaye, aparimana. Meaning I am stopped measuring anything at all. Made it non-measurable, immeasurable. Now what happens? If I do uddham adho tiriyancha, if I do like that, Brahmametam viharam idam ahu. My original state of mind is Brahma. Original. This is a converted state of mind. So I go back to the Brahma realm of existence with 4 vihara. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha. If I stay in that, done. That's it. The Chitta Jakaya is pure now. So the Kamma doesn't get formed because the seed will not be there. Of which one? Kama. So, Gabbaseyam punare iti. Nahi jatu Gabbaseyam punare iti. So now this Gandhabba will not take womb entry again. Meaning it doesn't cross from Jati, Sanjati, Okkanti, Abhinibhatti, Khandanam, Patubhavo, Ayatanam, Patilapo. These stages it will cross out. So now what will happen? It will have Opapattika. So the Gandhabba now will get into Opapattika. No womb existence. Instantaneously as Chuti happens, so it get established. Where it is written? You might ask me this question. Read AN 3.70. Uposatta Sutta, where Buddha beautifully explains. And he says Devata Uposatta you have to do. If you do Devata Uposatta, ito chuta tato utpanna. Ito chuta tato utpanna. Chuti happens here. Utpanna happens here. Upapattika. Instantaneous. Now what does he have? He says 5 things you should have, which you should question yourself. Do you have? 1. Saddha. 2. Sila. Okay. Then he talks about Tyaga, Chaga, Panya, and Sati. 5. If you have these 5, and he tells to Visakha that, listen, lady, if you have this, you will be reborn in a Deva realm. And he gives an example. How do you clean the chitta? It's all about cleaning the chitta. If you read thoroughly Uposatta Sutta and you understand and you practice it, you don't require anything. You can understand what is this Gandhabba all about. Because the chitta has to be cleaned. And he says, how do you clean the mirror? How do you clean the gold? How do you clean this? So he gives examples. We have to do exactly like that. So Brahma Uposatta, Dhamma Uposatta, Sangha Uposatta, okay, these 3. And then there is a Sila Uposatta and Devata Uposatta. 5 Uposatta. 5 plus 5, 10. Then he gives what will happen to a person who is done this. So he says, as soon as Chuti happens, Tato Ito Chutta Tato Utpanna, and he gets into Chatu Maharajaka. Then he gets into Tavatimsa. Like that, he keeps on explaining. So he also tells how many years. Meaning, what is the battery life, basically? Jivit Indriya, how long does it survive? So you can say for eons together as Gandhabba without requiring rebirth. And when the Chuti happens, you again reborn in the same place. Hope I have covered everything.
Yes, you have.
And Mahatana Sankhya Sutta also talks about that. In fact, that has a detailed one. Tinnam ko panabhikave sannipata gabba savakkanti hoti. How does enter into the womb? Idha mata pitaro cha sannipata honti mata cha na utuni honti gandhabbo cha na pachupattita hoti neva tava gabba savakkanti hoti. Idha mata pitaro cha sannipata honti mata cha utuni honti gandhabba cha na pachupattita hoti neva tava gabbas savakkanti hoti. Yato cha ko bhikkave mata pitaro cha sannipata honti mata cha tuni honti gandhabbo cha pachupattita hoti evam tinnam sannipata gabbasavakkanti hoti. Tamenam bhikkave mata nav va dasa va mase gabbam kuchina pariharati mahata samsayena garu bharam tamenam jatam samanam sakena lohitena poseti lohitannetam bhikkave aryasya vinaye yadidam matuthanam, that is matusthana, is breast of a woman. The mother is considered, when she is giving the milk, which is white in color, actually you should make it red, is giving her blood, lohita. So what he is saying is that if by chance this Gandhabba takes the form of a human or an animal or whatever it is, then it undergoes this process. So the decision making is in Okkanti before it goes into the next stage. After the next stage, nothing can be done. So our practice should be not get into Okkanti. Okkantiya sati nama rupa. Don't have that. And that's it. There's a sliding. Nothing anybody can do. So our practice, whatever way we want to practice, Sutta way or this way or that way or whatever way it is, should ensure that we don't have Okkanti. Jati, Sanjati. Okkanti should not be there. So you should escape from Okkanti. The Bhanga stage is Okkanti. Just one stage before. Sanjati. Get there. And stay there. For some time. You'll have a beautiful experience. Because you don't have any ayatana, you don't have khandas. 5 khandas are already gone. Because there is no upadana to the khanda. So you're beautiful. You don't have anything. You don't require anything, basically. Then come to the jati. Now you see the jati, see the chitta, pure chitta. So the kamma doesn't do anything. Utu doesn't do anything. So now you don't have to create new environment. I will go there and I will do this and nothing like that. You can do anywhere, anything. Because now your chitta is pure and bright. Pabhasaram idam chittam. There's nothing you need to do. Cut the jati. Jati going away. Bhava is gone. Bhava going away. Upadana is gone. Upadana going away. This is how Vipassi did it. Buddha Vipassi did exactly the same approach, where he cut off the jati. So the bhava went away. Bhava went away. Upadana went away. Upadana went away. Tanha went away. Tanha went away. Vedana went away. Vedana went away. Phassa went away. Phassa went away. Then the Salaytana went away. Salaytana went away. Then the Namarupa went. Namarupa went away. Vijnana went away. Vijnana went away. Sankha. He stopped at Vijnana itself. He didn't go into Sankhara. Because now he saw the vortex, or what we can say whirlpool, between Namarupa and Vijnana. This is the problem. He cut the problem. Then what happened? No existence in any realm because the Gandhabba got broken. Now you can't fix it. Once Gandhabba is broken, you can't fix it. That's it. That's all what is Gandhabba. So then there is nothing to be scared to see some shapes coming or some white thing coming, because it's all Gandhabba. In fact, you will feel such a sad. So when the Guru was talking to me on Vedanta, I used to always feel, why is he wasting time? In fact, I have spoken to him, saying that, sir, you don't want to show your face or you don't want to show your body. Agreed. But tell me, why are you with me? He said, look, I have time. So I want to give you the Vedanta. And he taught me perfect Vedanta. I didn't know anything on Vedanta. So from 2013 till 2022, August, beautiful, he taught me everything what I should know, from Viveka Chudamani to all the Vedanta thing. Whatever he knew, he dumped it on me. And the voice used to change, everything used to change, and my attitude used to change. When I am talking, the whole attitude changed. Then I requested him, sir, you are teaching me this, but how do I know I have taken it? Because on the audio, my voice changes. I know you are doing it, but after you leave me, if I don't know the knowledge, then if somebody asks me, how will I answer? And then in 2022, he said, I'm going. Now my time has come, I'm going, but I made sure that you know it. The entire Vedanta, whatever I know, is to my teacher, who didn't have a body. An entire Vedanta, not even a single thing I can say it is mine, because it is his teaching. Completely he taught me. So he's another Gandhabba in that way. So Gandhabbas are there everywhere. Now I don't know how many Gandhabbas are listening to this also. If I could see, it is the nicest thing. Good Gandhabbas. So Gandhabba is not bad. But in Gandhabba, you have all kind of Gandhabbas. You have pretas, which are basically going to extract things from you. Then you have the Gandhabba, which are in the Niraya. They are also there. They are asuras. Gandhabba. Then you have human Gandhabba. Then you have animal Gandhabba. In this place, what I'm talking. And the planes are divided so that nobody will land on another plane without approval, without getting his turn. Meaning, even if 100 Gandhabas are floating around here, nobody is going to step on another person's shoes, because they don't have solid things to experience. Now you might ask a question where it is written. Go and read Aganya Sutta. You'll come to see. The second section of the Aganya Sutta, he explains beautifully well. From the time, he says, from the time comes when this happens, and then he talks about Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, how it is formed, and blah blah. You have to read that. It's a beautiful one. How he says how the solidity keeps on adding and adding and adding and making the being come down and down and down and down. And so we have to really see that. So this is all about Gandhabba. So when I saw my teacher, saw in the sense experience basically. So did he speak in Kannada, or did he speak in Sanskrit, or did he speak in Pali or English or whatever? No, it's not like that. You will understand. If you are in touch with someone other than you would know it. 100% you would know it. Even if a ghost were to just come and touch you, you'll come to know. Just like a mosquito comes and sits and you will come to know, the same way if a ghost comes and talks to you or touches you or does something to you, you will come. What you do after that is a secondary question. After seeing, if you have met a deva, let's say if there's a question, you would come to know, because your psyche will change. Meaning, when you say psyche, the chitta will change. It will become receptive to that. So you might see a form deva or formless deva, but you would know that you have encountered. This happened in Vipassana on the 9th day, in the Dhamma hall, where I was looking at the Kalapas, and then I was feeling somebody is feeding onto me how to see it. And that was a breathtaking experience for me, because I was seeing it, and also there's an explanation for it. The very first time in that session, I had tears. Even though I was the most happiest person there, but that tears, because this person, or whatever deva it was, explaining so nicely to see this way. Now what is coming? It's you just see whether you have Patvi there, Apo here, Tejo here, Vayu. Just see this. Now you leave this. See the body. Contemplate like that. So Ajjatta Bahidda, both directions. So the Passa cutting happened here, Passa cutting happened there. So it was very nice experience. So now I can ask myself that why can't I get the same experience back and back? That becomes Tanha. Again becomes Tanha, Pono, Bhavika, Nandi, Raga, Sahagata. So need not be there. I don't have to strengthen the Gandhabba. Ending the Gandhabba is a better thing rather than strengthening the Gandhabba. So it's okay. Experience happened, over. So in one way, what Goenka says is that don't go behind the experience. Is correct, because then you are strengthening the Gandhabba. Because you become that Gandhabba. You don't have anything to do with that Sankhara. Leave it. So it breaks. It breaks into 4 parts. Karajakaya, 1 part. Chittajakaya, 2nd part. Kammajakaya, 3rd part. Utujakaya, 4th part. First you remove the Utu, environment. Without environment, Kamma has no role to play. Remove the environment. Don't get associated with the environment. I need this environment, that environment, that environment. No. Cut the environment. Kamma, end, without Utu. Now you should make your Chitta very pure and bright. You make the Chitta pure and bright. Remove the asavas. So when you remove the asava from the Chitta, then what happens to the Utuja Kaya you have taken care. Karaja Kaya is no longer required. So without Karaja Kaya, there is no rebirth. So Karaja Kaya is gross. So Ahara, Polarika Sukuma, you don't require both the Ahara. You don't require Sukuma Ahara, you don't require. Now this question comes, Sukuma Ahara is for whom? Sukuma Ahara is for Gandhabba. Polarika Ahara is for the what has come out. Simple. So now Atita Anagata Pachuppanna, Ajjatta Bahiddava, Heenava, Panitava, all that. See, same thing, right? In this Gandhabba, the chitta associates with the past, present, future. Cut it. Polarika Sukuma, Ajjatta Bahidda. The chitta being pure and bright, there is nothing called as Ajjatta Bahidda. Ajjatta Patavi Dhature, Bahira Patavi Dhature. Ajjatta Apo Dhature, like that. So you can see the Shuddhashtaka both internal and external. It cuts. So with that cutting, Utu is changed. And the Sanya, from Ghana Sanya, it becomes Anicca Sanya. So you have cut two things at once. Done. Now you relax, enjoy, become an Arhat. Done what has to be done. Brahmacharya, done. So the first rule of the thumb is don't have sexual thoughts. Don't give sexual thoughts. Why? Because it brings in the womb birth. And that's all. That's the only reason. There's no other reason why you shouldn't look at sexuality. It brings in the gross level. Cut it off. Because the original level is Brahma realm. Originally. We started from Abhasara Brahma realm. Again the question, where it is written, Aganya Sutta. Any questions, Ashutosh?
I guess you have answered all the questions.
Okay.
It was very good discussion. So now I don't have any question. Like sometimes I think that we are talking all these things one question I wanted to ask you, that time as we were discussing about the space occupied by the Gandhabba, so when you were interacting with your guru, so how you both were interacting, like he was coming inside your body or like the
Sometimes in the body, sometime outside the body, sometime you feel standing.
So now, like your body, in your body, you have your own Gandhabba, okay, and your Gandhabba is occupied all the space,
Yes.
okay. As your body expands, the Gandhabba also expands.
Also expand. Yes, correct.
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 So now, in that case, when the entire space is occupied with your Gandhabba, then how the other Gandhabba is entered in that space? So both the Gandhabba, how can?
No, it's not like that. What happens is your chitta gets modified. Meaning, what happens here? It's not the exactly somebody enters inside. Your psyche, you get psyched by it. They use the word psych. Even a person who sees a ghost or something, he gets psyched by it. You know what is the meaning of psych? Is that he goes totally insane. Okay. So what happens, Ashutosh, is that no person will come inside and sit. But what happens when something is touching you? That I'll give you a beautiful example. You can try it out. In fact, Goenka also talks about it. You are supposed to sit in the same place every day and meditate. Correct? Agree with me? Right? Agree. Why? Because you are leaving your energy there. You are leaving your energy body there. That is Gandhabba in terms of two things. Karaja and Chitta. A little bit of Karaja and little bit of Chitta is you're living in that place. So whenever you keep on sitting in that place, you're strengthening it. You're putting your strength to it. That means if I am meditating, I'm sitting every day one room, and then my energy is spread everywhere. Instead of that, I'll sit in one place, right? So then the energy is there. Supposing somebody, like it happens in the Vipassana retreat, so many people have meditated. When you go and sit there, what happens? Automatically you get into that state. How?
You feel the vibration.
You
You feel
the
that good vibration.
Where
Yes.
it is stored? It is stored actually in the Namagotta, actually, which is called as Akashic record or whatever it is called as, but actually Namagotta. This is the word what Buddha uses. So Namagotta. What happens in Namagotta? The energy stays. That means Chitta stays. Now when you sit there, aren't you using his resource? Whosoever was there.
Hmm.
Using, right? Otherwise, what I could not achieve at home for 1 hour meditation, in that class or in that retreat, in the Dhamma hall, it's for hours together. Here I have to put effort. There is no effort required. And this is exactly what happens if somebody touches you or some other being is in touch with you. Your psyche gets changed. Means it can change for the worse, it can change for the best. So when this guru, what I'm talking about, why I'm telling you is, I'll take few examples. I never used to read Viveka Chudamani before the class. In fact, one of the person asked me, can you talk about Viveka Chudamani? So until 2019, I had not read a single word on Viveka Chudamani. Got it? Not even once. But this teacher has been telling me from 2013 or 12 or 13, somewhere that time. When I first opened it, just opened it and started reading, what should happen? I should get confusion. But this person, I feel he's sitting and is explaining to me. How does he explain? It's like somebody is talking to you in your mind itself. So now you have start questioning, how does this work? Instant answer. How does this work? Instant answer. In fact, in 2015 in Abu Dhabi, I made notes. And I have a complete notes in my mobile. I still have stored it. Each day one experience given by this teacher. Each day. How does this happen? This happens because he's transferring something to me. So it's not that two Gandhabbas are inside a body. No, that is not true. But just like when you go to a meditation retreat, you sit in a seat and you start experiencing, that person has done good meditation, then, or I have done good meditation, whoever now sits in that seat will get the same vibration.
Now I have understood. Like now you are talking to me. You are using word as a medium to convey your what you like your knowledge to me. So in that same manner, when your teacher, like you and your teacher used to interact with each other,
Correct.
the medium was different. Medium was different.
Like the medium is telepathy.
Yes.
So now what happens? We use the word telepathy because it is instantaneous. So there's nothing that you are thinking. There's no thinking. It instantaneously, like the entire Viveka Chudamani, even though he had explained me at that time, or even Bhagavad Gita, even Atma Bodha,
No.
Atma Tattva. Yes.
One more thing. Now, in your case, he was the person who he was approaching you. Like he wanted to say, like he wanted to convey his knowledge, to impart his knowledge. So he approaches you. Now, suppose I want to approach someone, like some person who had died long before, like. So, is there any way to like
Yes,
interact with?
you can do that. So what you can do is, one way which is done is in that Chakkavale. So you have to do 4 things. One is that take any medium. Medium is that you have to make a sankappa. So you have to make the Nekkhamma sankappa, Abhihimsa sankappa, and Abhyapada sankappa. 3 sankappa. So now you make a sankappa. Okay. When you make a sankappa, what happens here is that you create an environment for any good being to be in touch with you. Clear? It's also there in the Dveda Vitakka Sutta you refer. Now you have to practice this for around 21 days or 7 into so many. So 7 days is most important. You multiply by whatever factor depending upon your parmi. Now you have to say that I need somebody, I want to meet someone. And it happens. Meaning either a living person will come to you, meaning with flesh and blood, and then you suddenly meet that person. Or a disembodied being, there is no body being there, and that person approach. So you have to make a preparation, you have to make an environment for that. Without creating an environment, nobody will interact with you. Just like I and you are meeting because we have created this Dhamma as an environment. If otherwise, what is the need for you to meet or I to meet? So we have created this environment.
Correct.
So you create an environment, it works. And since you do a lot of yoga and Vedanta and all that, it is very easy for you. In fact, yoga way, like this Hatha yoga, since you do that, it is easy. Because you can charge your kundalini and through that you can make the beings interact with you. And you will have very good beings. Meaning you will have a guru or someone who will teach you the depth of whatever you want.
No, like now I am studying Jainism, and you have also read about the Namo Kara mantra, Namo Arhantanam, Namo Siddhanam. So here, what we are doing when we are reciting the mantra, we are seeking help from that, like all the Arhantas and all the Siddhas and all the Acharyas. In the same thing in Buddhism, when we are chanting the mantra, Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. So here we are also doing the same thing. We are seeking help from the Buddha.
So now what should happen is the Vandana should be very deep.
But when we are just chanting the mantra, we are not addressing a like single person or single individual.
Not. So for that reason only, what you need to do is you have to, after you do the Vandana, you have to come to that Samanta Chakkavalesu Atra Gacchantu Devata and chant the Paritta. So then with that, you will get someone. Meaning, let's
all the Deva, when we are chanting Samanta Chakkavalesu, all the good beings will come.
Yes, they will come.
Now I want to interact with some individual, like some certain individual. I want to interaction.
It will come. So now you have to create that environment is what I am saying. Now the question comes, how to create an environment is that you have to have that Shraddha, that it will happen. So it happens in the multiples of 7. It can be 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 28 days, or during the Purnima or the Amavasya. These are the 2 days when you meditate from 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. to somewhere like 6 a.m. 3 to 6 a.m. In that time, you will meet. That is a time for the Chakkabala. The exact good time is from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. 4 hours. You are able to do that instantly. So what you need to do is you shouldn't have dinner at night, and you should get up, clean up things, mala, do some yoga dhyasa, then recite the mind, then with an open mind that you are opening your door to everyone, and start recitation. As soon as you start doing, have a different vibration, and you will come to see that somebody is arrived. That's the truth.
Buddha Dhamma, what Buddha says about this?
Like, I can say iti piso bhagava arahan samma sambuddha, like that, and I have to do
it's a good thing to do or not? I mean to.
No, if you want to meet, you have to do this. If you don't want to meet, you don't have to do this. See,
what Buddha says, like suppose someone is having the aim to attain a liberation.
What he says is that, see, I'll tell you what, till you reach a particular stage, you require Kalyan Mitra. There are 2 kinds of Kalyan Mitra. One is one who is embodied, one is who is disembodied also. You can take whichever Kalyan Mitra. Supposing you take Buddha itself, just like what I did. After I left this Goenka for whatever reason, then I said, I am surrendering to you. I don't know where to go. And I started working. Nobody came and taught me if I were to say it's wrong. Because when I started seeing it, I used to instantaneously get it. So the parmi wouldn't have increased in just one day before and one day later, right? Somebody is helped me that direction. Correct. And this guru of mine used to say that, look, I can't do this Buddha teaching. I can give you Vedanta. It's very clear. And I wanted to be on the Buddha teaching. So I used to tell him that, look, I want to be on this. I don't want, my ultimate aim is to go by the Buddha route, not by the Vedanta route. That I'm very clear.
So, suppose now one more thing, like in Jainism, when we are chanting the mantra, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Buddha is not a person. Buddha is a quality. We are seeking help, like
Everywhere it is a quality only.
only quality.
It's only
So
quality. Even
when we are, so when you are like calling someone or seeking help from others, when you are chanting the mantra, all the Buddhas, not only in Buddhism, I am not talking about only Buddhism, all like Buddha can happen in other religion also, like with Mahavira, in Jainism, in Christianity, anywhere.
See, we can make Shankaracharya as a Pacheka Buddha. Or that's correct. It can happen. See, I'm not against or whatever. What I'm trying to say is, you have to make that sankalpa that you want it, and you work towards it. Then it works. Sometimes by your parmi or whatever, in my case, it just happened. I never wished for it. I never wished. It just happened. But I can wish also. And when I wish, I work towards it, it happens. Now, why it is not happening? Because I am not creating the necessary environment. If I create the environment, so what should I create an environment? The chitta should be pure and bright. So if I work out on the chitta, any being will come and talk to me, right? So it is very clear. So chitta has to be cleaned, and the chitta cleaning is there in Upasatta Sutta, and in Buddha in fact says you do like that. In the Devata Upasatta, he talks about that. If you ask me, why can't I meet an Deva? You can meet a Deva. Why you shouldn't meet a Deva? Work out as in the Upasatta Sutta. You don't have to do anything. You just work out in the Upasatta Sutta. It works. It 100% works. I've seen it. It works. But I have to be clear what I want to use.
I think it's a good way to have a Kalyan Mitra also. So suppose someone is not able to get someone as a Kalyan Mitra, so he can also do like invoking.
Yes. So now what he says is that Brahma Upasatta, Dhamma Upasatta, and then the Sangha Upasatta, Sila Upasatta, Devata Upasatta. There are 5 Upasatta. You choose whichever you want. You want Buddha, he says how to call Buddha. Or Jina Panjara Sutta. You just look at that. That is a perfect Sutta. He says how to do it, right? In that Sutta.
Yes.
Jaya Sanagata Dhira Jitva Mara Savanidhim. So you do that. You just 100% do it.
All the like in Jina Panjara Sutta, we see help from so many Buddhas, like Kondanya and then all these Buddhas. So all these Buddha will come and protect us.
And then what happens? You have Angulimala, you have Sariputta, Moggallana. If you lead a life like that, that is, the Buddha is sitting on your head and the whole body is now Sangha. Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Dhamma Tavalochane. In the eyes is Dhamma. Correct? Dhamma Tavalochane. And then he talks about Kondanyo, Pitti Bhagam, like from back, front, everything he speaks. So then you create it. Within 21 days, 100%, if you practice it correctly, you will see. You will see. You will
And what is
experience
the
first hand.
and what is the best way to practice Gandhabba Sutta? Like only speak and recite this mantra, then
No,
we'll
no.
start
First you have to have
like
a sankappa,
whatever.
right? First you have to make a sankappa.
Hmm.
So first you have to make avihimsa sankappa for yourself. No himsa. Leave the
Towards
himsa.
myself and others.
First is yourself and then the others.
Hmm.
So aham avero homi abhyapajo homi anigo homi sukhi atanam pariharami. So let's look at the first line. Aham avero homi. No enmity towards yourself or others for anything, any reason. Okay. Which is equivalent to in the Bhagavad Gita, adveshta sarva bhutanam maitraha karuna evacha. This is what you need to practice. Now what happens? Your Jina Panjara will become an easy tool. Why? Because first there is no of himsa is not. With no himsa. If you don't have any himsa, then nekkhamma is the next automatic outcome. Okay. Which is also a parami. So you are creating a necessary parami for nekkhamma. Now nekkhamma sankappo. Abhyapada sankappo. When you have avihimsa and nekkhamma, vyapada will not be there. That means you are crossing the womb existence. Abhyapada. Nekkhamma will cut kamachanda. Vyapada is gone. Vihimsa. Now you have made your chitta like what? Deva. Now with this sankappa, every day, first you recite, but you have to feel that Buddha is sitting on your head. That means when you do anything, your awareness is like a Buddha, that he is watching me, he is watching me. So your Pachavekana is going to increase, the reflection is going to increase. So when you are eating food, Pindapata, you are aware.
Sorry.
Then Chivara, you are aware. Then the dwelling, that also you are aware. Gilana, medicine, you are aware. 4. So now you are in the midst of the Buddha. Then Dhamma Tavalochane. So now you are applying Dhamma in everywhere, because eyes are Dhamma. If not eyes is Dhamma, then you know you have missed it. So that means Nekkama Sankappa is broken. So you fix the Nekkama Sankappa. Abhyapada Sankappa, Vihimsa Sankappa. So you do that. In 21 days, if we do this, you will meet a Deva. 100%. Beyond doubt. You shouldn't miss it. Because when you apply this Jina Panjara or whatever it is, you have established it. And it is 100%. If you are in that stage, Deva will approach you, because you are now in that plane of existence. So there's nothing like you can't meet. Because you have moved from the human realm to the Deva realm. The Gandhabba is now of a Deva, not of a human. No longer it is human.
You have to make the environment like Uttus Rupa.
Yes.
Like Gandhabba.
Yes, the Gandhabba is changed, right? The Gandhabba is changed. Now the Gandhabba is changed, so you should be able to meet. And that is how Buddha was able to meet so many beings.
Oh, correct.
Otherwise, how he can meet? Or Moggallana, or Sariputta, or whatever it is. They all, Nanda. How was he able to go along with the Buddha to the heaven?
So all the past beings we can, like if you want to meet, we can meet.
You can meet.
They are still alive.
Yeah. Nobody loses anything, right? It is just that Gandhabba. See, the body moves, and then your Gandhabba is changed, and then you changed as an animal, or a bird, or a insect, or a human, or a Deva, or a Brahma, or whatever it is. It can't be in any other. See, in fact, in the Sangiti Sutta, in the Dasuttara Sutta, there are 9 stages of existence. Have you gone through it? It's a beautiful one. It talks about how to stay in 9 states of existence. There are 9 states. It explains.
I haven't.
And how would he stay? It is through Gandhabba only. What else will he stay? It is Gandhabba only. So the Gandhabba is a human, you call him as a human being. Gandhabba is an animal, you call it as an animal. The Gandhabba is a deva, you call it as a deva.
If the Gandhabba is born, like he is born in human form, and still I wanted to meet him, so he will come in the body form.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. In fact, Sariputta, I think I shared that sutta also. In Sariputta says there are 4 ways of existence. One, when Okkanti happens, he knows the Okkanti has happened. In another person's case, the Okkanti, he doesn't know. So there are people who come out of darkness and be in darkness. They come into darkness, they go into light. Then they come into light but go into darkness. And there are people who come into light and go into light. So just like the Buddhas, they know they are establishing, they are coming from Tavatimsa into the human realm. So they know that they are entering into the mother's womb, Okkanti. So whenever you have enjoyed this bliss, it is, you have come into the Okkanti before the Namarupa. Okkantiya sati Namarupa, when you cut Nama and Phassa, cut. That's the time you experience Bhanga. It's called Bhanga Jnana. That's the reason it's called Bhanga Jnana, because you have seen that there is nothing in this body. It's true. There's nothing in this body. Because you never occupy this body.
Yes.
So there's a
Only
Bhanga.
energy.
So when it happened to me in that Vipassana, I was not surprised, honestly. But I was also liking it. I was enjoying it. Good that it is working. And Kalapa, what he was saying, it worked. Everything worked. The only thing I did was Animitta. Because that is what I felt I should be doing before going to this 10-day retreat. Otherwise, it is not going to work. If I have nimittas of anything, I know so much of it. So it will become an hurdle. No, cut off everything. Whatever knowledge I knew also, I cut it off, saying that no, start from fresh. So it was good experience. One experience of everything. So then I don't have to go back again for another 10 days. Not required. Anyway, coming back to this, yeah, you have to make a sankalpa. So when you make a sankalpa, and then you can recite in a panjara and then go on observing. In everything you do, Buddha is watching. That's exactly what I used to do. I used to have the Buddha statue. I know it's just a statue, but he's watching. So what happened is that the sampajanya increased. Pajanana. That was the first thing happened. The pajanana happened. And then the sampajanya developed. So pajanana is seeing, to know. Sampajanya is awareness, pure awareness. You know what is happening. So that helped. That helped me a lot. So when I came out of this Vipassana TRI, the first question I had for myself is, whom will I approach now? I have given up, but what next? So this helped. Because the suttas, when I started reading, I didn't have anyone. Whether really some being helped me, which is also true. Whether the sankappa made me have that experience is also true. Then only I understood what the strength of a sankalpa, determination. There is, you can will it. I need this, and it works. So the Jina Panjara is the best one. In fact, it will also cure Vata Pitta, Sanjata, Bahira, Jatta. That is beautiful one. It literally you can control the Vata Pitta Kapha by Jina Panjara Sutta. That also I have experienced in that Sutta. So now I say I am feeling tired. If I start reflecting, the tiredness goes away, the sleep goes away, everything goes away, and the body gets rejuvenated back. So let's say I'm feeling tired of speaking, then for the next 5 hours I can speak. Then again I feel tired, again I can bring up. So it keeps on increasing the energy.
So now it's 9:20.
Yeah, let's say
We have spoken almost for like 2.5 hours
2.5
almost.
hours or more. Thank you, and hope you got whatever you wanted on the Gandhabba.
I wanted to have a long discussion, and today we have done it. Thank you so much for your time.
No problems. We'll meet again.
So,
Okay, see you.
okay, sir.
Namo
See you.
Buddhaya. Bye.
Namo Buddhaya, sir.